I love Cobra Kai. It is very cool. I love karate. I'm technically a karate nerd.
Wow.
My favorite is Robbie.
Your favorite is Robbie, the bad boy?
I don't know. He's the one that I don't think he's exactly Miguel off the flipping stairs.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. I couldn't believe they went there.
Yikes, that was not good.
Yeah, my
I
son,
never watched Cobra Kai.
you gotta watch it, Karen.
Is it worth it?
What do you guys think? Is it worth it?
It's worth it.
Now, let me ask you, how many people actually went back and watched the original Karate Kid movie?
No. I went back and watched it around 500 times probably.
Wow.
I can tell you each little detail. Well, that show has some cuss words.
Right.
Kind of. I mean, you could say that.
Yeah, that's the trick. All right, you guys. So today we're going to look at place value, and we're going to make the connection between place value and decimals and how understanding place value can help us with all of the operations that we do with decimals, like add, subtract, multiply. So let's get started. You guys have access to this Jamboard, and I've created a KWL chart. So just share with me, what do you know and what do you want to know about place value? And at the end of our lesson, you're going to come back to this original Jamboard and you're going to add one sticky note about what you learned. So if you could do this on the group Jamboard that we're sharing, labeled second period decimals place value. I see 16 of you are in there right now. You're just going to go create a sticky note, click on it, and then share what you know about place value.
Great, and I'm on Go Guardian, and I'm seeing that Harold is there, and Crystal, and Sean, and Dagum. And Miguel, I love you sharing your screen here because I can't see it there, so you get perfect attendance today. Rihanna is typing in blue, and Gigi's going to be typing right now.
Awesome.
Sean L is there, and Askan has a yellow. Saul, can you please open up this? I'll send the link again, and you can get it from our Google Classroom also. I know you're there because you talked about Cobra Kai, but I need you on screen.
All right, you guys. That's okay if you don't know. That lets me know that I can try to make some connections with place value from earlier grades that might help you make those connections.
Remember, line them up. We had a song last class about lining up those decimals, and we need them for division, long division, compatible numbers. So
awesome. And somebody said they want to know if you use this in systems of equations. Wow, that's great. You're already thinking about systems of equations.
And 100%, everybody is here for and everybody is on task.
Awesome. Yeah, somebody said that they know that place value includes decimals. Absolutely. Okay, any questions that you have, you can put it in the middle column, what you want to know about place value. And Rihanna said that there are different values in each number. Yes, each number, we call it a digit, represents a place value. So depending on how a number is ordered, we can see what that value of that number is. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and write a number, and let's see if you guys can help me figure out what the value is of each digit. Would someone like to read the number I just recorded? Where did it go? Here it is. You can read this number for us.
3,456,783.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, you went right there. You knew that the last digit, which is a 3, tells us what is the value that we read from. So it's 3,456,783. 456,783. So who could tell me, what does the 8 in this number represent?
80.
Good, yes, 80 or 8 tens. So we know it's the tens place value. How about the 4?
400,000.
400,000. Awesome. And how about the 7?
700.
Yeah, 700 is excellent. So each, just as you guys are sharing, each digit has a value, and that's what place value helps us do. It helps us to organize and think about what each number represents. We can write this in 2 ways, and we'll look at 2 ways for this presentation. Does anyone know what this way that I have here, what form is that in?
The 3 millions.
Okay, so typically with place value, we can say something is in standard form, written form, expanded form. Yeah, it's in standard form. Right, so we'll look at different ways. If somebody wants to go ahead and, I know this is a really big number, so let's say another number. We're going to try and go ahead and write this number here. Who would like to read the number I just pulled down onto our chart?
567.
Once again?
4,567.
Absolutely, great job. And try and write that number in expanded form. Expanded form. And can someone give us a definition of what expanded form is?
For the 4, you want to write 4,000. And for the 5, you want to write 500.
Exactly.
You want to write 60. And then for the 7, you just write 7.
Right, so when we write expanded, I always think of yoga and stretching. We're going to stretch out this number in expanded form. So go ahead and write this number, 4,567, in expanded form. Good, awesome. You guys did really lightning fast with that.
I'm going to show Go Guardian and how I, as a teacher, can watch 100% of my students behind the screen. Look at this. They are all engaged and synchronized and participating and listening. Patricia, isn't it just incredible? They popping up their sticky note. And I think about the operation. Do you add these numbers, subtract, multiply, or divide? So you're going to put the addition between the expanded, stretched out yoga.
The namaste math. I'm going to call it namaste math. Awesome. That's
Miguel, who is sharing his screen today. So I can see 100% participation.
Great job, you guys. All right. So now we're going to make the connection between place value and decimals. So typically when we talk about decimals, people always make the connection to money. And you can see that I've arranged our place value chart for us to look at. We talked a little bit earlier about having each value have a number. But what happens when we have a decimal point there? What happens when we put a decimal point in our place value chart? Typically, when we have a place value chart, every number to the left gets larger and larger, right? And that's still true. What about when we have the numbers to the values to the right of the decimal point? What do you notice?
They get smaller?
Yeah, they get smaller. Absolutely. And so when we start looking at place value, now it can be a little confusing because, wait, the numbers are getting smaller. And instead of a 10, I now have a tenths. And so typically you think, oh, this can be confusing, but I can start making some associations that those values are getting smaller. And what can those values represent? So go ahead. I want you to see if you can try and do this in your own Go Guardian slide deck. And if I can have one person try and bring these denominations into our place value chart to represent the number. Who would like to read this number here that I've written out already in expanded form?
Are we on slide 2 now?
Yes, we're on slide 2.
Okay, that's great to announce. Thank you, Miguel. You are helping everybody and helping me so much. You are a great leader today. Thank you.
Yeah. So I've already written the number, and I'll read it for you guys. It's 3. And then we have the decimal point. We say the word and. And then I look at the last digit. Remember when Miguel read the number? He started with the first digit was millions. But for decimals, I'm going to look at this last digit here, which is a 4. So if I go backwards, I can say, okay, this is the 3. And then I have a 6 in the tenths, a 5 in the hundredths, and a 4 in the thousandths. So I'll read it 3 and 650. Oh, sorry. See, it gets a little intense. It's hard to go backwards. 654 thousandths. Boom. All right. So see if you guys can read that number to yourself. 3 and 654 thousandths. And then use the money denominations to actually build that number.
How many $1 bills? And we talked last class about all this foreign currency I have.
Yeah.
How this one from Brazil is green and then red. And all the coins that we have, including that thousands, was the ruble I talked about, and how 1,000, when we do the currency exchange, is that thousands. Oh, I love the way my class is moving the dollars. It says 3. Miguel wrote 3, but I see $4 on the screen. And then the next pages you might have to duplicate.
That's right.
More than 4, which is good. My students figure that out no problem. They're very savvy nowadays. Excellent. And on Go Guardian, and chat, I really like the way Sean is participating, and Crystal gave a nod, and Curtis gave thumbs up. Harold, you're doing a fantastic job today. And Dagum and Sean B, let me have you go one more screen. We're on the money page. So I would love to see you guys switching pages to Go Guardian. I can see Askan is with us, and Gigi is always doing a really nice job. And Riri and Henry, excellent today. Hans and Greg and Maria and Curtis are all on the right page. So,
awesome.
Patricia, amazing. We can keep going to the next
one. Great job, you guys. And again, as Karen's shared, we don't have a value for thousands in American currency. So for that association, I actually included the Thai baht because my brother's from Thailand. So if you want to look at the conversion rate, you could do that. I did that on Google. And that is kind of interesting to see how the U.S. currency is, what is the equivalent. When my son is actually working on equivalent fractions right now. So what is the equivalency in other currencies around the world?
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating. Here's the next one, you guys. Notice I wrote the value, $5.29. So what I'd like you to do on your Go Guardian screen, and Miss Karen will call one person to come and share it and put it on our group collaborate Jamboard, is
first one there.
Yeah.
So I can share Hans' screen, or Hans can share his screen. But Miguel's doing a good job too. How would you like to do it?
So we'll read the number. Who wants to read this number to me? Notice that the last number is the hundredth. So that's going to read it. I like that somebody put a 0 in the thousands because we have nothing there. Who would like to read this number and tell me what the value is in each column?
It's $5.29.
$5.29. That's how we read it as a currency. How would we read it in place value? Remember that decimal point says and.
900.
Very good. Read it once again. 5 and
5/10 and 2/10 and 29,000. I mean, 5 ones and 25,000.
Yeah, and we call that lagging. It was I could hear it, and we really appreciate everyone trying to contribute. And I apologize for the technical challenges, but great job.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can say 5 and 29 hundredths. Or if you have a 0 here, you can even read it as 5 and 2,000. Karen, help me here. 5 and 29 thousandths. Right? But is there a difference between 5 and 29 hundredths and 5 and 29 thousandths?
Should I correct you? It's 5 and 209 thousandths. That's how you say the hundredths word, or you just could say 29 thousandths.
Yes, 29 thousandths.
I think it would be a big difference because 29 thousandths would mean 29 over 1,000. And
right.
29 hundredths. 29. Go ahead, Crystal.
2 will be in hundreds and then 9 will be in thousands.
It would be a big difference.
Dollars and I don't know.
It would be like having 29 pennies versus 29 of the Thai coin. So there's a huge difference with place value. You put it over 100 or you put it over 1,000. So we have to make sure we say 5 and 29 in the hundredths place, or 5 and 29 over 100 and not 1,000. So that's a big difference. Thank you. Good conversation.
Yes.
We got to watch our time though, Patricia.
Okay. All right. Let's do. Okay. Excellent. Next slide here. Who did this for me?
We might just let them do that really quick and go on. I love your mountain, and that's helping with rounding.
Awesome job, you guys. So go ahead and create the number. Notice that we have 0 in the tenths, 4 in the hundredths, which we know are our pennies. Why is our pennies represented in the hundredths? Can someone explain that to me?
It's on the far right.
Okay, but what other association can we make with a penny being a hundredth? What do you know about pennies and their connection to how many pennies would make a 1? How many pennies would make $1? 100. Excellent. Yes. And that's why it helps us to think about a penny being a hundredth, because 100 pennies would equal $1. Okay. And what about here in the tenths? We say, oh, our tenths are dimes. Why do you think that's true, you guys?
Because dimes are 10.
Right? And 10 dimes make
$1.
Yeah.
$1.
Right. So just like equivalent fractions, we can have equivalent decimals as well. Here we go. Now we're going to move from currency to place value blocks, which you guys probably had a lot of experiences with in prior grades. We're in slide number 5.
Okay, I'm texting Go Guardian. A few people I'm messaging. Everyone needs to be on slide number 5. If I message you, that means I'm not seeing it. So let's keep engaged.
And I've already created this example for you guys. Who would like to read the number here where it says, can you make? Who can read that number for me in place value?
3 ones and 4 tens and 2 hundreds and 2 6,000s.
So we have 3 and what?
3 and
Right, exactly. Say it one more time. You did a wonderful job.
3,426,000.
Excellent.
Thanks, Riri. And there was some excellent in chat. 10 dimes is $1, Sean says. And Greg is saying 100 pennies is $1. So they're also, and wrote it as 0.01. So there's a lot of good participation in chat too. Good job, you guys.
Great job, you guys. So you can always go back and look at this example that I shared with you. And in slide 6, I want you to go ahead and create this number. Who would like to read the number that we have at the bottom of the screen for everybody?
I can read it.
Go for it.
459,000.
Excellent. And I always tell my students that I work with is that math is like a language. When I started learning Spanish, I just sat in the class and I was super quiet. And I literally failed Spanish 3 times. It's no joke. Because I never participated. I was shy and I just didn't really feel confident. And then when I started teaching in Los Angeles, all of the families spoke Spanish. And they just made me feel really comfortable with taking risks and making mistakes. That guess what? I learned Spanish. So just like math, es muy importante que practicar mucho tiempo. Y cuando tú tienes un problema, pregunta a la maestra. Okay? So just practicing and you'll get more proficient and confident. ¿De qué pienses como yo hablo español? ¿Está bien?
Yeah.
¿Entiéndeme?
Yeah, I understand. I speak a ton of Spanish.
Okay, well, ahora now tú puedes ayudar a tu maestra también.
So which slide number now?
Now we're on slide number 6. We're building what number? Who is the last person who spoke? Can you read this number for me and practice? And it's okay if we don't say it correctly. We're here to learn and make mistakes.
Life is a process.
Here's our tenths. Here's our hundredths. Here's our thousands.
So you read the number and then you end with the place value that it ends in.
Absolutely. Karen, why don't you model that one more time for everybody?
I need to move it up. So we say 459. And sometimes I think in the, what place value? In the thousands. So 459,000. And I love the way you're using the laser to highlight that 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And to write as a fraction, you put 459 over 1,000. And we try to simplify if we could.
Excellent. I see that people are using our blocks, our place value blocks. And we know, and what I love about this, the 1,000 block is we can actually see it as a cube. It has 1,000 units. Our 100 blocks, right? There's 100 squares. And our 10 blocks have 10 units.
So they're really pretty far ahead of you, Patricia. They did 7. Let's go to slide 8.
Okay.
I really want to get to that.
Awesome.
We have a bell schedule to keep.
Oh, yes. Let's move on to rounding, you guys, because now we're going to make the connection between rounding and place value. So it's important for us to know place value so that we can understand where we move or where we go higher or lower based on the place value. So on the right-hand side, I have the directions for rounding. Is that we need to
slide number
11.
Slide number 11. Okay, we're
yeah.
not there yet. Yeah.
Some concepts in math, we really need to make the connection to procedural knowledge. So if we round 3 4/10 to the nearest 1, we need to think about what is our rounding place? It's the ones, right? So we have 3 ones. And then what we do is we look to the digit to the right. And we have to think about what is the place value. It's the tenths. Now, I know there's a lot of songs.
I need to make sure they can see the mountain. You've only got about a half here.
Okay.
We're going to check in. I'm going to show their screen. And slide 11 has a mountain. And some of them might miss the information because they're trying to
Right. I see. Okay.
I'm going to share really quick.
Sure.
You guys get to slide 11. I see. I'm going to call your name if you're there. Dagam is doing a great job.
Awesome.
And Crystal's there. And I can see that Harold just got there. Thank you, Harold. Sean, can you get to slide 11, please? Riri is doing a great job. And Gigi. Riri and Gigi, my daughters.
They could start a music group.
Let them take in the image with
Right.
the decimals before we start talking about how to.
Great.
So, good. Sean Al just got to 11. Escan, I need you to get to slide 11, please. And Sean, Saul, can you please connect? I think he got disconnected.
Oh, no.
I'll call home to get Saul back online. Look at this whole row. Curtis, great job. Maria is on the mountain. Greg and Hans and Henry is there. And Zara and Nathan and Rachel, great job. Jason. Ajane is almost there.
Awesome.
And Itzel is catching up to number 11. I'll be messaging them.
Get on that mountain, you guys. We want to get on the Magic Mountain. And the fun part is at the end of this activity, you guys get to create your own mountain. And you can even put your own little Bitmoji on the mountain. So before we start talking about rounding, I want you guys to just share out either in the chat or if you want to put on your microphone, you can do that as well. What do you notice and what do you wonder about this rounding mountain? And how can this help us make a connection to what we do when we're rounding? Anybody want to share out?
Sure. So what I'm seeing is if it's like a 0.6, it goes closer to 3.5 because it's the closest one to it. Or if you go to like 4.0, or it could be in the middle. So it would probably be 4.0 because you always want to go up instead of down. But if you're like 3 away, I would go down. But you always want to go up if you can, if it's in the middle.
Right. So anytime it's in the middle, which you identified, great job, as 3.5, that is the middle, you want to go down the mountain towards 4. But if you're less than the middle, less than what we have here is 3.5, you want to go down the mountain.
Back.
Or back, yeah. Anyone else want to share what they notice? Pardon me?
My class is doing the lovely blue illustrations.
So let's get into some of the procedural space. And I love the image of a mountain because I'm a hiker. I love to go out running. Sometimes I start my run and I always try to go halfway and turn around and do a loop. But sometimes it takes me longer to run the mountain and I don't have enough time. So I'll just turn around from where I'm at and go back to the beginning. So that halfway point is a good indicator that it's okay to move on. We can keep going. But if it's less than half, I want to go back to the beginning. Good. And I like the person who shares, the mountain reminds me of when I walk outside. Nice job. So when we're doing rounding, we want to think about the digit in the rounding place.
Wonderful insight, Patricia, that I've been taught decimal so many different ways, but it's so nice to learn different ways. And I'm super glad that we're remembering like 3rd grade, I forgot, or remembering now. So I love the connections. They're going to be really smart and be able to use this in 6th grade and 7th and for the rest of their lives. So great job.
Yeah. All right, guys, go ahead and tell me, what is our rounding place? You want to look at the bottom of our Google Jamboard, and you can highlight, underline, or activate your microphone, put in the chat. What is our rounding place in this example on slide 11?
Ones.
Excellent. So when we're rounding to the ones, and you notice what are our ones in the mountain? I'm going to 3 and
4.
4. And our halfway point is?
8.5.
3.5. If we read it as a decimal, which we just practiced, we would say what? Remember that dot tells us and. So, and then we read the last digit
and 5,000.
Okay, do we have 5,000? Or what is that first number after the ones to the right of the decimal? Remember I made the association of being what denomination? It is the dimes. Yes. So now read it with the dimes. What is the dimes represented in the place value chart?
How much is a dime's worth?
10 and 10 is $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now go ahead and read the number as place value. Miguel?
Yes.
Can you say the number again? In the middle?
3 tenths and 5 dimes.
Okay, so 3 and 5
dimes.
Okay, but we're going to read it as place value number. Tenths, right? So we can read all of these numbers. Read them with me. 3, 3 and 1/10, 3 and 2/10, 3 and 3/10, 3 and 4/10, 3 and 5/10. I know it seems silly, but remember when I told you guys about learning Spanish for me? The more you practice reading, the more the understanding of place value is really going to cement with you guys. So even if you just are in your room, in your house, reading it by yourself, that's okay. Let's read the numbers after 3 and 5/10. Ready? 3 and 6/10, 3 and 7/10, 3 and 8/10, 3 and 9/10.
4 and 0/10.
4 and 0/10.
Okay. 4 and 0/10. Excellent. Okay, guys. So when we round to the nearest one, what number will we get to?
4 and 1/10.
If we're at 3 and 4/10.
We're going to go back to 3, or we're going to move ahead to 4. For 4, do we leave it alone, or do we round up? And then we need to go on, Patricia. We're almost out of time, so we need to go on.
Okay, so we'll just go down to 3 to the nearest one. Okay, let's look at another example. Oh, I'm at the middle. Okay, let's round 56 hundredths to the nearest tenth. Okay, so again, we're going to look to the digit to the right of the tenths, which is the hundredths. If it's 5 or higher, we're going to increase the rounding place, which is the tenth, by 1. So where should we go? Where should Miss Patricia go? Who can bring Miss Patricia to the nearest tenth if I'm at 56 hundredths? Who wants to drag my little Bitmoji and bring me down? Yay, 6/10. Excellent. Okay, good job, you guys. All right, here's a tricky one. We're going to round to the nearest hundredths. So we have 6 and 455 thousandths. Okay?
Which slide are we on now?
We're on slide number 13. I have two Bitmojis. I'm at the middle of my mountain, 6 and 455 thousandths. Who remembers, where do I go if I'm at the middle? Grab that Bitmoji and bring me down if I'm rounding to the nearest hundredths. If I'm at 6 and 455 thousandths.
Miguel, can you switch to slide 13? Because I'm watching your slide. This is so nice of you. Thank you.
Bring me to the nearest hundredth.
Okay. And which way? Is she going to go back or is she going to move forward?
Yes, when we're in the middle, good job, you guys. We're going to go down the mountain to the bigger value, to the next value up. So that's 6 and 460 hundredths.
About it, I forgot my cell phone when I was going to the store and it had my list on it. And I wasn't quite halfway. I was less than halfway. So I went back home and I went back home and got my phone and then I continued the store. But if I was more than halfway to the store, I probably would not have gone back because of the time difference. Or high five, if it's 5 or above, we go to the higher number. Just giving a high five is another physical way to think about whether we move up,
That's right.
up, or whether we keep it the same number. We never round down. We always keep the number or move up. By giving a high five, go to the higher number.
All right, so now we're at, who wants to do this one? I want to see who can read this number for me.
Which slide are we on?
We're on slide 14.
Number 14. Thank you. And Miguel's doing a great job with his leadership today. Everyone's participating. Great job.
Awesome job, you guys. Karen, would you like to call on someone to read the number and explain how we round to the nearest ones?
Jason, I haven't heard your voice, and I love hearing your voice. So we're on slide 14, Jason. Your mic should be working okay.
Hi, yeah, my mic was kind of buggy in my headphone. It's kind of buggy. So.
It sounds pretty good though.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Jason, if she is at 4/10.
To the nearest ones, I would say 0.
Mm-hmm. Thumbs up if you agree with Jason that 4/10 rounded to the nearest ones is 0. Great job, Jason. Do you want to bring Miss Patricia down to 0?
Yes, please.
Go for it. All right, let's look at slide 15, you guys. Now I really need your help. We're going to round 8/100ths to the nearest 10th. What do you notice about this mountain that's different than the other mountains?
There are no numbers.
There are no numbers. So you guys need to work collaboratively and plug in those values.
So there's a yellow sticky note that says replace each question mark with the correct 10.
Absolutely. Great job. Okay. So what do you guys remember from our previous slides? Where's halfway if we're dealing with tens? What is half of 10? Should we have 8/100ths at the halfway point of our mountain? What do you guys think? So if our place value has a denomination of 10, we know that half of 10 is going to be what? That's what you want to put right in the middle of the mountain. Go ahead and move that up there if you know what the answer is.
I wonder if we can help each other. It's looking like there's some good patterns coming out. Do the numbers start at 3? We can look back at other examples to see how they started. We're going to need more people to contribute here. Good job. Can we self-correct here? We're on a Jamboard. Oh, I love the way someone's moving them around. We're moving them around. And everybody's on the right page. This is fantastic, you guys. Okay, they're going to need some help.
All right.
Where do we start? How come it starts in 0.03? Oh, there we go. Where does halfway? I see someone trying to get that halfway point. Fantastic. Okay. We need to move. We're almost done with school.
Oh. Remember in our previous example, Jason said we can round to 0.
Okay. Patricia, you gotta help. There we go. We see 5, we see 6, 7, 700, 800. Awesome. We're letting you self-correct and correct each other in a collaborative Jamboard. There we go. It took a little noodle thinking. I like someone, a message just said, let them use their noodle.
Yeah,
So
some productive struggle.
We let you kind of struggle through this. And I'm seeing some aha or yes. So now someone's starting at 1. There's a sticky note and the question marks are moving around. So good job, you guys.
Here's a question we have. Somebody has here 0 and 11 hundredths. Good, that was changed. That's actually going to be greater than 1/10. Awesome.
But I'm supposed to put a 3.
What's that, Jason? I mean, Miguel? All right. Let's try another one. This is, so we have 6 and 129 thousandths, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredths. Here's our thousands, like our place value. We have 2 in the tenths place, right? So we have 6 and 129 thousandths. So we look to the digit to the right, which is the thousands. Okay. If it's 5 or higher, we're going to round up. So if we round 29 up, it becomes 6 and 130. Or if we round it down, it would be 6 and 120.
Okay. Well, class is ending in just a minute. I know, Patricia. I'm like, we gotta keep. we got to keep to the bell schedule.
Okay.
And next week they have more iReady testing. I wanted to give
Okay.
you a day
Can
to
they go
review.
back to the first slide and maybe just write one thing in their KWL chart before you go?
Oh, we didn't get to do my favorite slide at the end.
Oh, I know, but we did so much. This was a really rich lesson. Look what you guys did. Let's go back to this first slide here and just write down one thing you know, and I'm going to clean house a little bit, or one question you still have.
Yeah, I love the way you contributed in so many different ways. Miguel, you were a fantastic leader for us today, and I just appreciate you all so much. I have so many leaders in this class, and we're also willing to follow and contribute from behind the scenes, share with chat and share with our writing and using
Awesome.
wonderful, nice voices. I've been watching you guys contribute, and it's just lovely. So next week you have iReady. Remember, there's no school Monday. Monday you have no homeroom, no classes for Martin Luther King's birthday. So Tuesday we'll have homeroom and then 135. And I'll see you on Wednesday 246. And we get to start the math iReady. And maybe we can have Miss Patricia think of a way that we could skip the introductions. Have
Great.
a good 3-day weekend is right.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Please say thank you to
You
Miss
for the
Patricia.
lesson.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Patricia.
You're welcome. Great job, you guys.
Jamboard because you can get review for long division. So
And I'll come back after season 4 of Cobra Kai's come out and we could talk about it again.
so the TV show, I've seen the first one, the original, but so that was great. We just have to keep it. We're all done now. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Okay, great.
I got that for another teacher too. Recording pause. I gotta figure out how to find it now though. I've not recorded too much. Good. How'd that go for you?